I do a lot of different things, but one of the things I do is I'm a master trainer of what's called the Matter of Balance. And it is a fall prevention program.
Oh, thanks.
And so Matter of Balance is a program I'll talk about at the end, but basically fall prevention is big. Good Shepherd, and I think probably all the hospitals around here and in the country are very, very concerned about falls. And it is something that hospitals are really trying to do something about probably for many years, but it's been, you're welcome. So I'll just tell you a little something, and I do talk a little bit about statistics, but I'll tell you that 80% of the trauma-related admissions at Good Shepherd Hospital are related to falls. 51% of those are people over the age of 55. So it's not just older people. There are the younger people that have fallen and their life has never been the same. Unfortunately, we can't in the emergency room go, here, take this pill. Go home, you're not going to fall anymore. Woohoo! Wouldn't that be great? No. It is something that each of us individually have to do something about. My strategies and the things I need to do so I don't fall down are different than Carol maybe, or somebody else, theirs. I'm going to pass this down. So that's what we're kind of going to talk about today. Hi, how are you? Yeah, that's okay. What do I need to do? Well, basically, there's a lot of things. It's not just one thing. I always say to people in our classes for Matter of Balance, the star and the sun and the moon were all in alignment. Well, maybe if we take the moon out of the equation, or the star, or the sun, next time we won't fall. So for each of us, I want you guys, if you get anything out of this other than me just talking, I want you to think about what's something you might be able to change in your life that might lower your fall risk. We can never say, oh, do this and you'll never fall again. But we can lower your risk. And if we do that, we've done our job. Okay? So preventing falls is an issue of balance, awareness, life, assessment, nutrition control, and exercise. I know people hate to hear it, but the goal and the solutions to a lot of things is eating right and exercise. And we would like a simpler solution, but it's kind of the truth. So let me see if this works. Yes! Okay, how many people have fallen? You don't have to raise your hand, but I am one of them. Okay? Because of that fall, how many of you, and I don't like the word afraid, but are concerned, it made you concerned, or it did make you a little afraid that you're going to fall again? Okay? Yeah. Thank you for being honest. Has anybody changed their lifestyle as a result of that fall or that fear? Okay. All right. A lot of people do. That's one of the issues we're going to talk about. And how many people say, I haven't fallen, it'll never happen to me, it's Joe Schmo down the street. They're the ones that have fallen. Okay. Well, I used to think that too. I'll be honest with you. I have fallen down my stairs 4 times. Twice when I was in my early 30s. Okay. And twice, actually, one time it was after I got my master training in Matter of Balance. I had to admit to the class, my class that I had fallen. But I have, all right? So I'll tell you what happened is each time I have fallen down the stairs, once I fell down the 2 concrete stairs from my house into my garage. I was looking at something out there. And the other 3 times, I was carrying things. Once, I was a young mother carrying laundry, missed the bottom 2 stairs. And then the other 2 times, it was early in the morning, okay, and I was getting ready for work. I get to work by 7, so when I go down my stairs, it's about 5:15 in the morning, all right? So some of the things, what I realized is, here I've got, I don't have a cat, but I have 2 dogs. I have 2 Akitas, and they can be, my female is about 90 pounds. My male is as big as her, and he's only 6 months, so he could push 120. So I'll tell you, I had to evaluate. All right, my husband called me klutzy. Well, klutzy's not funny as we get older, because the consequences can get greater. All right? So one of the things I realized was, at 5:15 in the winter, is there light out? No. Did I turn the light on? No. Okay. Number one fall risky behavior for me. I don't turn the light on. Do you know why? And I'm telling you, we do things because they're really silly. An emergency doctor once called them stupid, but I call them silly. I don't like the light, this is a little obsessive compulsive, I don't like the light switch being up on the upstairs when it's supposed to be down. Because then I go downstairs and to turn off the light, I have to push it up. They're off. I don't like that. Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2, my dogs are like, oh my God, she's awake! Oh, yay, we're gonna eat! Okay, they're all over me. There are 200 and some pounds combined. They get in the way, and I'm paying attention to them, right? Right. Number 3, what am I thinking about at 5:15 when I'm going down the stairs?
Right. Getting ready for work.
Getting ready for work. What I'm doing at the office, right? At 7 o'clock, I'm not paying attention. Okay. And number 4, my dogs, I have corrected this, but they used to leave their toys on the stairs, and I did not pick them up. Those are my four risky behaviors. Since I got trained, and since I realized what my behaviors were, I have not fallen down my stairs. Where's that? I don't see any wood. Okay. Because every morning, when I go downstairs, every morning, whether it's light out or not, and I cheated the other day, I used my cell phone. Wrong, don't do that, you can't cheat. You gotta turn the light on. Every single morning, when I go downstairs, I am paying attention, because what happens is when I don't, I miss. Twice I hurt my ankle really bad. The other time my head almost went into the wall. I got my shoulder, okay? Every single morning. Now, one never said this is gonna be easy. There's me, okay? False statistics. 30 to 35% of people, 65 and older, fall each year. Those who fall are 2 to 3 times more likely to fall again. 1 in 5 falls cause serious injury. All right? People fall and they don't get hurt. And they think, and most people don't get hurt, but a lot of people do. Or it changes their life. And that's what I'm trying to prevent. I don't want your life to change. I want you to live your life the way you want to live it. To the fullest. Doing things you enjoy. Living where you want to live. A fall, and now I know I'm being preachy. My dad used to be like, you know, in Seinfeld, whack, 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 whack. That's how my husband does too, but my father used to hear that from me. Every year, that changes for people. So the leading causes of death from injuries among people 65 and plus, these are 2010 statistics, so it probably has gone up because there's more seniors. Falls, number 1, okay? Motor vehicle comes in a very distant second. Leading causes of non-fatal injuries. So the majority of people, they're not fatal. Falls. Okay? Leading places of falls for hospital admissions. These are our statistics. The home. Most falls occur in your home. Okay? Places of falls that result in fatalities. The home. 60%. And it doesn't mean you die then. If you fall and a year later you die from those injuries, whatever they were, that is a death related to fall. Discharge status, 39% skilled nursing facility. Bad, 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 bad. That's what we're trying to prevent, isn't it? That's what we're all trying to prevent. We're trying to maintain our independence. 33% do go home, 8% go for rehab. We had an emergency doctor come give a story, a presentation at Good Shepherd. I do something called Senior Breakfast Club. And he talked about the crazy things that he's seen. And one of them was a gentleman in his 80s, still lived independently in his home, always cleaned his gutters himself. Okay? There was a thunderstorm one spring. He remembered he forgot to clean his gutters. He worried. He got out on a ladder in a thunderstorm to clean his gutters. He fell, and guess what? He did not go home. He went from being very independent to not. It can happen in a split second. And that's why this is so important. It's just little things, and we're going to talk about little changes we need to make for each of us. What I have to change is different from what you have to change. Types of injuries at our hospital. I'm sure the other local hospitals are the same. For us, there's your falls. Motor vehicle. Other hospitals in the city could have other, gunshot wounds, things like that. And we do see those. But falls are number one that come into our emergency room. Traumatic injuries. 80% are related to falls. Age status. 51% over the age of 55. I'm part of that statistic. It's not just the old. But the younger we are, the more aware we can be and the more we can do about it. 24%, 0 to 25, 25%, 26 to 54, and that's the 55 and older. Trauma deaths. Of the traumatic related deaths that occur at our hospital, 80% are related to falls. Not motor vehicle accidents, falls. The precipitating event to that injury was a fall. What are the causes of falls and what can we do to prevent them? This is not a downer talk. I swear to God, we're going to be uplifted. I don't have music or anything, but the myth is you can't do anything about it. The myth is I'm getting older, I'm going to fall. Those are myths. Those are not truths. The truth is we can do something about it. We do have the ability to have control over what happens to us in our life. Usually there are 2 or more risk factors. I had 4 that interact to cause a fall. Poor balance, low vision, home or environmental risks play a role in 50% of falls. Not only is multitasking and not paying attention very bad and really contributes, I think, the classes I teach for Matter of Balance, not paying attention or planning ahead is huge. Not only multitasking is terrible for our brains. So not only will we fall, but we'll also get dementia. So let's stop multitasking. It's bad, bad, bad. But 50%, the environmental or home, there's risk factors that either we know they're there and we go, oh, well, it's just the way it is. I'll deal with it later. I'll change it later. And before we change it, we fall. These are modifiable risk factors. That means we can do something about it, right? Biological, there's leg weakness, mobility problems, problems with balance and poor vision. Those are the biological. We can do something about that. Inactivity, and this is stressed in our Matter of Balance class, inactivity is just as bad, possibly worse, to older adults than smoking. It is worse for your health than anything, is being inactive. And I don't mean you go and run on a treadmill and work out 5 days a week or whatever. Walk. Walking is wonderful. Increase your activity level is huge. Because when we don't do things, there's a hypothesis with Matter of Balance, which how it was created, is people think when their fear goes up, they think if I don't do anything, I won't fall. So fear or concerns go up, activity goes down. Guess what? Your fall risk goes through the roof because you get weak. You stop using parts of your body that you used to use. So what we say is, let's get rid of that fear. Let's realize that we can change things, take control, have confidence, not be fearful, and let's increase our activity level. And guess what? You're going to lower your fall risk. You will. Doesn't guarantee you're not going to fall, but if you increase your activity level, guess what? You may be able to go down, if you go down, not get as hurt, because your muscles are stronger, you improved your wrists, your ankles, walking is great. Behavioral. Some people take meds that can put them at risk for falling. If four or plus medications increases your fall risk. All right? And I think like 60% of the people over 65 or 60 take more than one medication a day. Risky behaviors that we do are inactivity. Those are behavioral and those are modifiable. Environmental, clutter. Oh my God, my husband takes his shoes off the side of the bed, and by the end of the week he has 5 pairs of shoes on the side of the bed. And I say, why don't you put them away? He goes, what if there's a fire? Well, you can't wear 5 pairs of shoes if there's a fire. So clutter and tripping, okay? No stair or railings, grab bars. I have a client that took one of our classes. He has they're much better now. They're actually, I think, suction, but grab bars, he takes them with him on trips. Because not all the hotel rooms will have those grab bars in the showers. And he puts them right on there, takes them off, goes on his trip, okay? And poor lighting. How many people have a night light on, even though they don't have kids in their house anymore? Yeah. My dad, we had this huge fight. He used to live at the Fountains in Crystal Lake, and he lived there for about 8 years, and he was in assisted living the last couple of years he was there. And I would come pick him up on Sunday mornings, and we'd go to around the clock for breakfast, because he loved his stuffed cherry French toast. So I'd pick him up, and one day, I said, because I was now a master trainer, here's a nightlight. I stuffed it in the electrical outlet on top of his counter. We left, we went to breakfast, I dropped him off, came back the next Sunday, picked him up. Nightlight's on the counter. I pick it up, I put it back in, we go to breakfast, I drop him back off, I come back the next Sunday, it's on the counter. I didn't think, put it back in, this is number 3, come back the next week, it's on the counter. I go, Dad, why is the nightlight on the counter? Because he was in a studio, so he had to walk from his, a lot of falls happen between the bed or bedroom and the bathroom. Huge, because we get up at night as we age more frequently. And I go, why? He goes, because I like it dark. At the time, he's not with me anymore, I would have gotten a motion detector. There are all sorts over the internet things you can plug in that they only go on when you walk by. They stand, and you can put them along your path, and as you pass them, they go on. It's kind of like an airfield, You can have them all go on as you walk through. So there's tons of stuff to light your way, okay? So if you like it dark, like my dad did, you can get a motion detecting nightlight. So these are environmental, these are biological, these are behavioral, and when they all intersect, boom, you're at a big fat fall risk. So the fear of falling can cause people to restrict their activities. They restrict their activities because they think it's going to reduce their fall risk. It can actually, as I said, lead to falls. It is controllable, and change the environment also in your home to reduce the falls. So a majority of falls occur during routine, okay? So answering the phone. Well, now we have cell phones, so we can keep them close to us, but it used to be the phone rang, we had to run across the room. Walking to the bathroom at night is big, all right? Getting the mail, tripping over clutter or pets. How many pets, they get in your way, or they're laying, you have cats and they're not sleeping on your head. Maybe they're sleeping, on the floor. I have big dogs, they sleep on the floor. I'm literally like this, trying to get over them. And then inactivity puts you at a big risk, okay? I had a girlfriend, her mom used to lived with her and snuck out of the house to have a cigarette. But unfortunately, one time she tripped and they were not home and she fell and she fractured every bone in her face. She went from a standing position down. And they are lucky she did survive. But they had to literally manually put the bones together. So,
See, give up smoking.
yes. But she may, don't sneak out for other reasons.
Well,
So inactivity results in the loss of our muscle strength, okay? We lose our balance, it compromises social interaction, it increases the risk for isolation. Oh, everybody's going out, I just, I don't want to go out there. Going somewhere where there's stairs or, it will just be too difficult. People find it can lead to depression and it can lead to anxiety. Fear of falling leads to falls. Oh, wow, okay, we're accentuating that contact. So other risk factors, poor vision. I wear glasses, especially at night, I don't have my glasses on. So I have a night light on. My dog's in a crate, so I don't have to worry about running into him. And I gate off the other dog downstairs. Medications impact. Especially if you have a medication that makes you dizzy, they tell you to take it at night. Well, if it makes you dizzy, you take it at night, and you have to get up and go to the bathroom, all right? So make sure when you do get up, you sit up slowly, you sit on the edge of the bed, and you make sure that you have your balance before you get up and go. Some people know they're going to get up, so if you don't want to have to rush to the bathroom, our trauma coordinator said, set your alarm before you usually think you're going to have to get up, so you're not rushing to go to the bathroom. Gait and balance problems, osteoarthritis, and osteoporosis are other risk factors for falls as we age. So our vision, it changes as we get older, all right? The pupil controls the amount of light. Well, because our pupils get smaller, the older eye receives much less light to the retina. And a 20-year-old gets 6 times more light than an 80-year-old. It's almost like you're wearing sunglasses. And then if you have cataract, it makes it even worse. So in dark conditions, a 20-year-old eye gets 16 times more light than the older eye. It's important to get annual eye exams to rule out any diseases, glaucoma, macular degeneration, cataract, and use bright lighting during the day and night lights at night. Be careful with your medications. My dad they would tweak his blood pressure pill just a tiny bit, knock him out. And he had to call the doctor and say, you know what, put it back, I don't care. I can't, he would just be like, couldn't get out of bed, just from a little tweak. Some of us can be very sensitive to medications. And so seek medical attention if you're on blood thinners. Minor falls or injuries can be serious. My dad also had AFib, atrial fibrillation. It was definitely something we were concerned about. He was such a fall risk. Was it worth the blood thinning medication? Because if he fell, he'd bleed out. So those are issues to discuss with your doctor, okay, when it comes to blood thinners. Eat healthy. Darn. It's important to eat a well-balanced diet to maintain your strength. Drink plenty of water. Older adults, and I'm probably one of them, I'm not older yet, I'm getting there, get dehydrated. We drink less, and our skin and our body needs more fluids, not less. So what happens when we drink less? We can get infections, urinary tract infections, sepsis. It's a terrible snowballing effect, and I hate water, but you gotta drink it, okay? Because your body really needs it. Excuse me. One of our nutritionists told me a very good thing, that protein, a good protein, they don't necessarily want you to eat too much red meat. Protein is important because protein goes in, all right? It feeds your muscles. Your muscles then improve your strength, and your strength improves balance. So protein, muscles, strength, balance. So they even feel don't give up on protein, no matter how you get it. It's very, very important to feed your body protein, among other parts of a well-balanced diet. And drink water. Gait and balance. They're common, and they can be the cause of falls. Changes in our gait can be from medical conditions, but they are not inevitable, okay? Tell your doctor about any falls you've had or difficulty with gait or balance. So you can, if your doctor writes a prescription, if you've fallen or you have balance, you think you have balance concerns, you can see a physical therapist with a prescription and work on balance. What do you think is the most important joint in your body for balance?
Ankle.
Who said ankle? Ding, 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 ding. Your ankle. Why?
Because it's important. I mean, I got a bad ankle right now, and I know it's easy to fall with that.
Keep your ankle healthy, flexible. That just could mean sitting at your desk or chair and doing a foot circle, flexing, okay? Because your ankle is what feels that terrain and the change in terrain and reports it to your brain. Tells your brain, oh wait, I gotta do something different. If your ankles are stiff and not flexible, or my dad had neuropathy, his feet were heavy, he couldn't feel them, even though he said he could. He couldn't feel them. You will, if you fall, your ankles, if they don't flex, you will go down. It's really important. And there's all over the internet, very simple, I do this when I'm on an airplane to prevent blood clots, if you're on an airplane a long time.
I do mine sitting.
Yeah, right. Flex. Your ankle is very, very important. Your hip flexors are very, very important. When we get older, we're focused on walking forward. But the majority of ways people fall is to the side. And so if you are not used to side stepping, this is another good exercise, you will go down because your hips have lost their flexibility. Okay, so that's really important. How many times have you been going and like, oh, I forgot something, and you took a turn, you stopped and you turned and you lost your balance? Because our body's not used to that. So these are very, very simple things and exercises to do to get your body going. Doing the hula hoop, if you can do hip swivels and not move your upper body, that means you have good flexible hips. If you end up going, going like this, your hips are not as flexible as they should be. Okay, so even doing a hula hoop is good for your flexibility. Okay? So tell your doctor about any falls. Osteoarthritis. Arthritis affects 27 million Americans. Primary osteoarthritis generally associated with aging. It's the wear and tear, and us baby boomers, we're weekend warriors and our joints are going to dissolve. But we're going to go down fighting. And we're going to find somebody to replace all of them at some point. It's the breakdown in cartilage. It cushions the ends of the bones and allows for easy movement. If you're bone on bone, that hurts and that's a problem. They begin to rub together and it leads to that stiffness and pain. Treatments can include anti-inflammatories, joint replacement. Weight loss is huge. You want your joints to survive? Watch your weight. Because your weight is what's, our ankles and our knees, pound. Physical activity to increase strength and flexibility. We are not saying get on a treadmill and run 5 miles a day. Activity means get up, walk around your house, do something to keep yourself active. Go to your senior center. They got a lot of Tai Chi, whatever, yoga, any of their sitting Tai Chi, their standing Tai Chi. Very good. They work on breathing and your joints. Osteoporosis, okay, that is characterized by low bone mass and leads to bone fragility. It's more frequent in elderly white women, and it's the silent thief. We don't know what's happening until you might get a fracture, and then the doctor is able to see that you have osteoporosis. So, some other important things to keep in mind to prevent the risk of falls. Ta-da. There he is. Plan ahead. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I'm just as guilty. Constantly running, make sure you've got everything that you need in the morning. Do it the night before. Put your clothes out. Make sure if you know you're going somewhere that you're going to need those things. Get them out, have them ready to go. Because I can't tell you how many times people have lost their balance because they're rushing. They're going this way, and then they decide, and people tell me, oh, well, then I just changed. I remembered I forgot something, and I changed directions, and I went down. Okay? Plan ahead. Biggie. At least for me. Keep a telephone nearby. All right? If you're afraid that if you fall, you will not be able to get up, either make sure you have an emergency response system on you, or that you always, the trauma coordinator, Kathy, that I worked with, she's retired now, but she carries her cell phone with her at all times. So if you go down, you can call somebody. There are ways to get up easily. However, if you've had knee replacements, at least one, if not two. If you've had 2 knee replacements, you will not be able to get on your knees to get yourself up. So you better have something so that you can call for help. Clear the way! Oh my God! Clutter. Keep stairs and walking areas free of electrical cords. Tack them down. Shoes. My son wore a 13 or 14 shoe, and my husband wore a 12, and I wear a 9. My shoes would not be at the door. But there'd be 5 of these huge boats at the garage door, and I would walk in. My husband would say, oh, you're such a klutz. No, you need to put your shoes away. And I would pick them up and throw them at him. But I wanted to. Books, magazines. I had a woman that took a class. She had her knitting stuff right by her chair. Guess what? She got up and she tripped over it. Okay? Uh-oh. Pets. I have 2 big dogs. I love them, but they can be a hazard. Water. I have Akitas, they dribble. Oh my God, there's a path. They go to the bowl and then half of it comes out as they walk away. Mop it up. Toys, jumping, and they can be difficult to see. I've had several participants of Manor of Balance. They went down because their dogs were older and their dog's eyesight was bad. And they took her down because they thought they saw something. If your dog is going to put you at risk, do not walk that dog. Get a dog walker or set something up so they don't have to go far. You've got to make those changes. She was down in a field somewhere for hours. Okay? So do something. If you have a wild dog, take the dog to training. There's tons of places. Train that dog. Get help if you need to remove clutter and clear the walkway. Slippery when wet, use non-slip mats in the bathtub. Install grab bars. And wipe up spills immediately. I would like to go back to this just for 1 second. Why don't we ask for help?
Want to stay independent.
Yeah. Okay. So, we are trying to stay independent from what? From what age? 2? 1? We are fighting for our independence. Guess what? The majority of people that fall, the reason they fell was because they're doing things that you're actually putting your independence at risk. Asking for help is not losing your independence. Doing what you're doing when you shouldn't be, because you should have somebody else do it, is losing your independence. All right, done preaching. And we are not independent, we are interdependent. Nobody lives on an island by themselves, all right? I did have a client, one of our clients that came to our Manor of Balance. She set up a contract with her daughter, okay? Her daughter wanted to help her. She said, okay, I have 4 rules that you can help me clear out my rooms. She said, number 1, okay, no arguing. Oh no, I'm sorry, number 1, no sighing. I can't believe you still have this. Number 2, no eye rolling. Ah. Number 3, no arguments. Okay? And number 4, no comments from the peanut gallery. And she said even after signing that contract, her daughter got really snarky at the end. So, yes, there are many reasons why we don't ask for help. Pride, humility, we want to be independent. But you know what? It's okay. And people will help. You want to be in control? Set the ground rules. You're going to help me, but this, I'm not going to listen to it. You're just going to do it, and if you can't do it, then I'm going to find somebody else. Okay. Slippery, night lights we've talked about. Light the pathway. All right, bedroom, hallways, bathroom. Throw rugs. Oh my God, people have rugs on top of wall-to-wall carpeting. Make sure if you have to have a beautiful throw rug, it has a rubber backing, so you're not going to trip over it. My dad, luckily, was a huge White Sox fan, and I was thrilled that he was alive. He lived long enough to see them win the World Series. So I was so excited. Unfortunately, he was in the hospital, but I got him this White Sox banner, you know, World Series. I got him this baseball, and I put it at his front door. So guess what? He came home from the hospital, first time using a walker. We opened the door. He tripped over it using the walker. He didn't fall. But I was like, that's it. That's gone. All right, we put it up on the wall. That was it. Always smooth out wrinkles and folds in carpeting and use non-skid backing. Stairway should be well lit, top to bottom, and have handrails on both sides. Does anybody wear these shoes anymore? No. Okay, no 5-inch heels anymore. And you need to wear shoes that you can actually feel your feet. I don't know if anybody's worn Timberlands, but they're like 800 pounds. Sturdy, comfortable footwear. Alcohol can make you unsteady, all right? So if you know you're going to be drinking, have 1 or 2. I did have someone in one of our classes that actually was a recovering alcoholic, and he stopped drinking because he was falling, and luckily he knew that that was why he was falling. Check in with a friend or a relative. Consider a medical alert system. The reason the damage that is done when you fall happens with you down. It's not necessarily the actual fall, it's the internal damage that happens while you're down. We have, and our old trauma coordinator said, she has seen people down for 2 and 3 days until they've been found. That's when the damage occurs. The internal bleeding, etc. So if you are by yourself, do a phone a friend. So if you check in with a friend every day at the same time, at least you would, if you were down and you couldn't get up or you didn't have an emergency response system, it would only be 24 hours till your friend tried calling again. Exercise, but set realistic goals. If you say, oh yeah, I'm going to join the health club, I'm going to exercise 5 days a week, I'm going to do it 2 hours, you'll never do it. So, at realistic goals to increase your strength. If you like to swim, if you like to walk, if you bike ride, just walking. And if you're a little bit unsturdy, I had someone get a really cool walking stick. Okay? Something that you enjoy. It has to be something you enjoy and does not feel like you're, working out. Important reminders. I think I'm going to make it. Plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead, plan ahead. Exercise, exercise, or just increase your activity. Take your time. Take your time. It's okay. Just by planning ahead, you're going to give yourself enough time, right? Because you have everything done. You'll be ready to go. Ask for help. Okay? It's not a slant of your capacity as a human being. We've taken care of someone or people our whole lives. It should be reciprocal. I help you, you help me. Use night lights, grab bars, install grab bars. Unfortunately, I found out my dad fell one time because there were grab bars in his bathroom, but when I walked in, the shower curtain was like that.
Oh.
I think he fell. Avoid throw rugs if you can. If you have to, make sure they have rubber backing. Please wear sturdy shoes. And set realistic goals to increase your activity so you'll do it. The important part is that you do it. This is a fall risk. I'll read it to you. Do you take 4 or more medications? Have you fallen in the past year? Do you wear floppy slippers or flip-flops? I do. That's really good. I love flip-flops. Or a long bathrobe? Do you have trouble getting in and out of the bathtub? Trouble walking without holding on to something? Trouble getting in and out of a chair? Do you have trouble with your balance? Throw rugs? Do you have stairs without rails? Do you have clutter in your walking space? Do you have trouble seeing pathways or pets? Are you afraid of falling? You check any of these, even one, your fall risk is increased. So Matter of Balance is a class that we have trained coaches. I know Senior Services, we trained them. They now are master trainers. So Senior Services in Crystal Lake and McHenry both do Matter of Balance. We do Matter of Balance at Good Shepherd Hospital. It is an 8-session class. It teaches us how to manage our concerns about falls and different strategies that work best for us. And there's also exercises that work on the parts of the body that help with your balance. You could always give me a call at Good Shepherd, and I would be able to point you in the right direction. I will tell you, probably because of Chicago, most classes occur in the spring or fall. We tried doing a class a couple times, January and February, and we got blizzard out twice. So we have 2 classes starting at Good Shepherd, but unfortunately they're full in September through October, and then we're going to not do it until March. But always give a call senior services, see if they're doing any classes. I know they do some classes in Huntley, as well as their Crystal Lake location. I think the Huntley Library, they've done it before. So it is 8 sessions, and it's 2 hours each session. The term "a matter of balance" is what this is all about. It's balancing everything. Do just one thing is not going to necessarily change things for you. But if you look at your house and you go, oh my God, look at the way, furniture's here and shouldn't be, or you want to increase your activity so your legs feel a little bit stronger. Any classes, whether sitting, standing, if you have a walker or a cane, you can do them. Dancing is phenomenal. Anything to stay active, to keep your muscles stronger. And doctors will tell you you can improve and you can make changes at any age. So don't feel that this is not something that you can do something about, because it is. It's just something that you have to pay attention to every day. Okay? So stay well, don't fall, be healthy, be happy. And it was good talking with you guys.